following the last episodes, you'll know we've driven about 17 hours, met up with my friend Stephanie. Already been on some adventures, but in some ways the real adventures start today. Today we are headed to the Chihuahuan Desert and the Chisos Mountains. So it's the high desert, and we have to get our gear in order because we have a long drive, about 8 hours ahead of us, and we gotta stop and pick up some supplies as well. Our first little adventure in the desert is a 3-day hike, so we gotta make sure our bags are ready to roll. Everything we need's gotta be packed. We're gonna go through this and load up the car. Satellite SOS device, just in case. We've gone through our gear, unpacked it, repacked it. We now believe our odds of dying in the desert have dropped dramatically. Now all that's left is for me to grab a quick shower and load the car. One slightly annoying feature of the Subaru Outback is that if you leave the hatch open too long, it drains the battery. Gotta be kind of fast about this. I discovered this the hard way one time. Fortunately, it was in a driveway and not in the middle of a national park or something like that. So it was a good time to learn the lesson. May seem like a lot of gear to pack for a 3-day hike, but gonna be on the road for several weeks after this hike. Southwest Texas is the first stop, but many states to come after that. It's a mess back there, but as a wise man once said, good is the enemy of perfect, or something like that. No, perfect's the enemy of good, and we didn't have time for perfect. Time to get some supplies and hit the road. Ooh, boys. A little bit of shade. We'll take that. Yes, sir. REI is closed, so we'll give Cabela's a shot. Thank you. Got our supplies. The only thing that's left to do is to grab some breakfast. After breakfast, I'm going to tell you guys more about our destination and some of the adventures we're going to be doing these next few days. Torchy's tacos are pretty great, kind of like a funky Tex-Mex type of thing, and relatively cheap compared to the rest of Austin, which in general is very expensive. We got our supplies, we got some breakfast, now it's time to head west. It's about 7.5 hours. It's one of my favorite drives. Once you get outside of Austin, big open interstate, hardly any traffic, and some pretty sights along the way. The place we're headed is called Big Bend National Park. It's in the very southwest corner of Texas, right along the Rio Grande in Mexico. In fact, we're going to be crossing into Mexico at one point. I've only been to a handful of national parks, but so far, Big Bend National Park is my favorite. Not many people go to Big Bend. Super remote, kind of desolate, honestly, especially in the summertime though, because it's just so hot. This park is also one of the few places in the country where on the same hike you can be in the flat desert and then end up in the high mountains. And these aren't just any mountains, these are the Chisos Mountains. They're really pretty and rugged. I'm trying to keep this gas tank full while driving around out here in West Texas. There are not many gas stations or towns out here, and the stations you do find are sometimes abandoned or out of service. About 3.5 hours away from Chisos Basin. Already the roads are pretty much empty. Really small now, but we're starting to see signs of the mountains that are coming. I love driving out here, guys. There's just almost nothing man-made besides the road. It feels like I'm on another planet. We're about 2.5 hours away from the Chisos Basin. We're passing by Fort Stockton, which is the last major town, the last guaranteed place to find gas. After Fort Stockton here, there's one more little outpost between us and Big Bend called Marathon, Texas. And they're supposed to have gas, but they've been known to run out. People have been known to run out, which in the summer out here, not so great. We're leaving Fort Stockton and basically leaving civilization too. From here, it's mostly open desert, and of course where we're headed, where the desert meets the mountains. Still about 2 hours away from the trailhead, catching our first glimpse of what I would consider mountains. This Chisos Basin that we're driving to is a great place to start our hike, as it's kind of like a mid-elevation bowl that's surrounded on all sides by the mountains. And since the basin is a mid-elevation area, it's going to be a lot cooler than the flattest parts of the desert, which during the summer are very dangerous. A couple people have already died down there. Last little bastion of civilization. Sometimes you can get gas there, sometimes you can get pizza there. There's a little hotel up ahead, but yeah, not too much going on in Marathon, Texas. I think it used to be a railroad town. Some people live here. I would guess that some of them provide services to the tourists that come through here. Although as you can see in the summertime, I mean, there's not much in the way of tourists. I think I mentioned this earlier, but some people have actually died in Big Bend this summer. Unique aspect of traveling around down here near the border with Mexico, you do run across these U.S. Border Patrol offices. Sometimes they ask you to stop, but looks like they've closed up shop today. We're still probably at least an hour from the trailhead. At this point, it's just mountains all around. Some are far away, some are close, but everywhere you look, mountains. These desert mountains aren't covered by trees, meaning it's easier to see their shape from a distance. And I enjoy this very much. We gotta drive a little ways to get to the Chisos Basin. Once we get there, we'll do a last little bit of gear check. I think we're both gonna change into some different clothes, and we'll start making our way up into the Chisos Mountains. It is 5:30 now. I think there's definitely a chance we're gonna do a little bit of hiking in the dark. Probably a pretty good chance that we're gonna be setting up our tent, cooking our meal in the dark. That's alright. We brought headlamps for a reason. We've been driving this entrance road, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and we still haven't seen a single person. Even the little entrance kiosk was unmanned. It's just a short hike tonight to set up camp in the foothills, but the next couple days we'll backpack many miles up into the Chisos Mountains to overlook the Chihuahuan Desert in Mexico as far as the eye can see. We're making our ascent up into the Chisos Basin. Be at the trailhead in 15 minutes or so. And in about 18 hours, we'll be at the top of that thing. A lot of people think of deserts as dead and empty. In fact, there are places in this park that are as green and alive as just about anywhere I've been. And that's part of why this place is so special to me, and why I'm excited to bring you guys along. Hey, bear! Like I said, this place is alive. Sometimes it's a black bear. I've been swarmed by hummingbirds here in a field of flowers. Just never know what you're gonna get. All right, guys, we're almost at the trailhead. Ready to roll? Let's get our gear together and get some sunscreen on. I'm already sunburnt from Arkansas. Yeah.
Some face sunscreen?
I'll just put regular sunscreen on. Thank you, though. Considering we just saw a bear, I think I'll bring this. Do you need sunscreen?
I already put face sunscreen on.
Alright guys, we're hitting the trail. Got about 2 hours before it gets dark and about 3 miles to cover to get to our campsite. Set up our tent and get some food going. Gonna be on the Pinnacles Trail all the way to our campsite today. We got about 2.5 miles to go. Here's where we are. That's where we're headed. In my experience, it really matters getting your backpack adjusted. You know, Stephanie's carrying like 6 liters of water, a whole bunch of food, other gear. I'm carrying 13 liters of water, I think, a bunch of food, tent, blah, blah, blah. If the backpack isn't snug to you, then yeah, it just starts to feel bad in a hurry. I recommend taking the time to get your backpack adjusted before you get on the trail, ideally. Ultimately, you have to do some adjustments on the trail, typically, once you actually feel it. Thinking about having a stop at a campsite that we didn't reserve. No one's really out here in this park. Almost positive the campsites will be empty. Yeah, it'd be nice to set up camp before it gets dark, cook us some food before it gets dark. We're fixing to hijack a campsite. Unless someone's already up here, in which case, I guess we won't be hijacking anything. Empty. Got our very own bear box. Got some nice logs to sit on. Good spot to pitch our tent. Another spot to pitch a tent. Cook, whatever we want to do.
I'm happy to be done with my first day, even though it was, what, like 2 hours? 1 hour?
Yeah, something like that.
1 hour.
We had to get the backpacks adjusted a little bit.
I just want to sleep and eat and then get ready for tomorrow.
Put our food and smelly stuff in here. At least keep the bears out of our stuff. No, set up the tent, because that's the harder part. kind of thinking we sleep with the rain fly off. What do you think?
Good idea.
How is it?
It's really good. It's chicken and dumplings.
Let's see it. Oh yeah. All right, let's see what this chicken fried rice is all about. Pretty good. I would say Stephanie's is a little tastier, the chicken and dumplings. Mine's probably a little easier on the stomach though, so kind of a trade-off. I would give mine for camping meals a solid 6.5 or 7 out of 10. I would give hers, like, in terms of taste, not sure about the stomach, like 7.5 or 8 out of 10. It probably just looks like darkness to you guys, but the sky is alive with more stars than I can count. You can even see the Milky Way out here. It's been a long day. Tomorrow's the hard day. Gonna head up most of the way into the Chisos Mountains because we really haven't done much climbing yet. And then from there, we're gonna be going to the highest point in the Chisos Mountains, Emery Peak. Back down to a little canyon, back up again. It's gonna be a lot of tough hiking. I'm gonna get some sleep. As always, thanks for tagging along, and good night, guys.